What's more incredible, Borussia Dortmund having had such a low release clause for Manchester City when they came calling of 51 million quid for Erling Howland, or is it the fact that Manchester City virtually strolled to his signature without really very much challenge from elsewhere?
Well, I'm pretty sure there would have been challenges from elsewhere to try and sign him. The thing is, with Howland and the connection he had with City with his dad and stuff, it just seemed a logical one, and he probably decided early, and then therefore anybody else was irrelevant.
Yeah.
In terms of the clause, that was probably done when he moved there. Maybe the hierarchy at Dortmund undervalued him a little bit, didn't think they thought that was going to be fair and reflective of where he might be a year or two down the line. To anticipate his improvement and his consistency in goal scoring at every level he's actually played at is not easy to do, because not many people have ever done it. So, but now it sounds ridiculous, doesn't it? I tell you what I did notice last night is that, and Pep does this, he's done this more than ever this season. You know the kicks up the backsides for people, even the big boys. He's done it with De Bruyne on more than one occasion. He done it with Bernardo Silva. He's done it with Grealish, who's now playing better. And he talked about, I don't know if you saw the interview the other day about Haaland's, he can do more in terms of his physical output and his work rate. I tell you what.
Boy, did he get a response.
I'm not talking about the 5 goals. I'm talking about the first half I watched where he was running about, he was coming deep, he was knocking people about, he was sprinting like full out. It looked like he thought, you know what, I'm not having that.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's clever management, because it can go the other way with big boys. It can go the other way with huge egos. Not good characters tend to take it the right way, but
yeah,
I thought the response, and even De Bruyne, I don't know if you watched the game, De Bruyne did more challenge, like 50-50 challenges, tracking back, more pressing. He does it anyway, but more intensely. It was like a real middle finger to the managers, if to say, yeah, all right. You want to leave me on the bench for a
but as far as Pep's concerned, he's quite right to do that. Throw down the challenge to anybody, no matter who they are.
Absolutely.
That's his job.
Take a brave man, wouldn't it? It does take a brave coach. I know Pep's got plenty in the bank now and he's at that position, but not all coaches have that same methodology where they go, do you know what, I'll call them out. I'll call my best boys out and see how it goes.
Yeah. Got the right reaction though, didn't it?
Yeah. I think if you respect the person that you play for, as a footballer, that's something that ebbs and flows, because you only tend to respect when you're given precisely what you want. But if you respect them and they're fair and equitable, and they don't do it to make a point, they don't do it because they can make you do something, they don't get you to write a report and never read it, they do it because there's a good reason behind it. As far as Erling Haaland, what the situation with him about his contract was just very clever player-based agency work from the agent in situ. They knew what they had on their hands. They had a box seat situation, and they engineered a scenario where it worked best for the player, because the player, and one of the reasons why he would have landed at Man City isn't just because of the Haaland relationship, it's because they were prepared to pay probably significant salary. Beyond others.
Which put them in an elite bracket, didn't it, of only one or two, maybe 2 or 3 other clubs.
Yeah, and having Pep in charge, there is an allure for any player to go to Manchester City.
Well, having any manager that wins and wins repeatedly is the allure, isn't it? Whether
Serial
that's Pep Guardiola or whether it's the next guy that comes along and wins with Man City.
Yeah. Howland is scary, though. Scary in a variety of ways. If you're playing against him, I'm sure it's mightily scary. But he becomes the fastest and youngest player to reach 30 goals in the Champions League. He's only 22. He's now in 39 goals for the season in all competition. The first City player to reach that figure in a single campaign. But last night, having come off the pitch, having done Leipzig by 7 and he got 5, he's like, speaking to CBS, he said, I should have had more.
In the first half, I could have scored more. I had alone with the goalkeeper. No, it's true. I had alone with the goalkeeper with the pass from Nath. I had the rebound with Gundo. I thought he was going to play the ball. That's why I went a bit more. If I dropped down 2 meters, I would have scored, because he shot at the keeper. So I could have had 2 more goals in the first half. And there was also crosses from Kevin I could have been at. So there was possibilities, but if I sat on the pitch, no one knows what will happen. In my mind, I think I always have to look for the next and to try to always reach more, because to stay hungry, because maybe someone would, if they score 5 goals, would be happy. You have to be happy, but you have to want more, of course.
You got to love that, Danny. Do you know? I mean, you're a top player yourself, but when you hear him there, and he's only 22, now you got to be happy, but you want more. I mean, what does that tell you about Manchester City? And interestingly, is this an ominous warning for Arsenal this morning?
Well, he's in terms of the first part, he seems to always be somebody wants more and looks to do more and never happy with himself. Hence the fact he keeps doing what he's doing. That drives him on. That's normally the way with the top players. But yeah, it's refreshing to hear, isn't it? Somebody who's got that hunger. A lot of goal scorers, they'll get a couple and they take the foot off. He wants 4, 5, 6.
Right.
It's just incredible. I'm not sure that... I don't think Arsenal players will be watching that thinking too much. You know, they've come so far.
Seriously? 7-0
Well, they
in
know
the Champions League?
They know City are a terrific team. You know.
It wasn't as if it was 4-0 going into that last night.
I think more importantly for Arsenal is they concentrate on what they're doing, but they've lost twice to City, haven't they, this season already? One in the Cup and one in the league. So that's more of a player when you play a team and you go, God, we haven't beaten these for a while. That's more mentally challenging than actually seeing them win. It's a bit like watching Liverpool smash Man U and then Bournemouth turn up against Liverpool. They don't capitulate, do they? They just...
Yeah.
You know, if anything, it gives you a little, come on.
But people all around the country, guys at their work this morning, girls at their work who support City or support Arsenal, I think a lot of conversations are going on, Simon, along the lines of, I tell you why City will pip Arsenal to the title. Why? Howland.
Maybe, but Arsenal have control of their own destiny. And whilst there are a series of very difficult games that sort of make Arsenal have a very challenging run in because they've got a lot of the sides that around them that they've got to play away from home, including Manchester City, it's irrelevant to Arsenal and should be irrelevant to Arsenal that Manchester City have beaten someone 7-0. As Danny rightly pointed out, it probably had an air of irrelevance to Bournemouth that they beat someone 7-0. The fact of the matter is you play the side that's in front of you on the day that you play them. What it does tell you is there is an argument that Man City aren't the same side as they once were before, that they aren't as compelling. They've just given you a marker down for how this back end of the season might be beginning to unfold. Arsenal have got to focus on what they're doing, and if they get the results that they need to get, they'll win the league. If they don't, they won't.
Yeah.
I maintain emphatically, if they lose to Manchester City at the Etihad, with the last 5 games, they're perfectly capable of drawing another game, and Man City are perfectly capable of winning all their games and nicking the league on something like goal difference.
Liverpool got a big say as well. Play them both.
Okay.
I know Liverpool are hot and cold, but they've got a big say in this title race.
Yeah. Well, Howland is scoring for fun, and that must be a warning to anyone in and around Manchester City in this title race.
The thing is, Jim, isn't it funny though? A couple of weeks ago, the narrative was, a City are worst team because they got Howland in it. The goals aren't being shared around. They don't play. Right. They don't play to his strengths. And now we're talking. I don't like. I mean, it's.
Were you not part of that discussion?
No, because I didn't say that because I think they evolve. A team evolves, and you learn to play with the players you're with.
Yeah. Simon, as we head to the first break, actually, a bit of news about Arsenal off the field, not on it. Arsenal have just announced that Stan Kroenke and Josh Kroenke have become co-chairs at the football club, while Tim Lewis becomes executive vice chair. What's all this about? They tell us the appointments are a recognition of how leadership structure has evolved over the past several seasons. So Josh is now up there with Stan.
Yeah, that's interesting. I mean, I think one of the big things that happened post the ESL, the European Super League, was a refocusing and a recentering of what was important to Arsenal, which was building team, investing in the management structure, making sure that the Kroenkes weren't perceived as the devils incarnate. They gave him more authority, Josh, more jurisdiction, and he's spent money with Arsenal, bought players, and we're now seeing the sort of the byproducts of that. So I think it's probably, in their world, probably the right thing to do. Tim Lewis, a lawyer who was a non-exec director, now finds himself exec vice chair. Don't know about him. What I do know is that Josh Kroenke carries the weight of his dad's money. So with that in mind, it's probably relatively reasonable to put him in a position of perceived greater authority. Okay, Manchester City scoring 7 last night, moving and shaking on the pitch. Arsenal moving and shaking off it this morning. Lot to get through.
Jim White and Simon Jordan. Monday to Friday mornings from 10 on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.